Hello and welcome to TTTT. Shout out to my co-hosts in the building. Hello Cindy, hello Samiro, hello Kwach. My name is Amina Abdi Rabah. Welcome to the show. This is where we get the lowdown of everything that's been happening all week long. And let me tell you, I am so proud of being Kenyan. It's just been a wonderful season. Lovely scenes in so many different parts of the country. Yes, our economy is beating our behinds, but somehow there are other ways for us to feel like we are united. Am I wrong?
No.
Mimi ni fire, si fire.
Fire.
Sisi ni moto, si moto.
Moto.
Sisi tuna beza.
Pesa ndio tuna base tuko nayo.
I've never had anyone say niko na base. I've never. In my 21 years of living, I haven't had that. But how are you guys? I hope you're well.
We're good.
Super.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Someday I hope people will see how much noise there usually is in here before we start the show.
That's true.
Tunaanza tukiwa modest ni kama you are here.
Because Amina kianza kwambia it's not that we're laughing at nothing.
Yeah, because you know I look so weird if the show begins and I'm just like tunakwanga tumechochana hapa. In fact, we should have people subscribe to our BTS.
Yes,
I think that would be great.
Yeah, you know.
Apart from the days when we are sengenyaring watu behind the scenes.
Yes, that's every day.
Well, we sengenya watu professionally.
No, we
it's
don't.
It's a professional opinion.
No, on air is professional. Off air
is personal.
Well, like ati tumepanda meeting ngapi? You saw that video. Anyway, now we have a lot to get through, so let's get started with the very first story. We are going to Homa Bay. Kenyans in Homa Bay County are taking the body, or while taking the body of slain Albert Ojwang to the local police station, where he was first held captive before being taken to Nairobi County to be murdered in Central Police Station. The Mawego Police Station has since been torched in a dramatic incident that took place this week. I was so shocked. The numbers, did you see the numbers, Kwach?
Yeah.
Yes.
Amina,
After kwanza tulishaambiwa Samiro, tumeambiwa tukikaribia police
I
station.
thought there was a directive which hiyo ndio opinion yangu. Muliambiwa mkikaribia mtafanyiwa ile kitu. Not only did they karibia, but also they reached a whole police station. Yeah. And the stories after was that baada ya kuzika ile ilibaki itavurugwa. So mimi sijui kama labda wale the police there waliogopa ama what happened, the directive, sababu after speaking of that akasema mwenye atakaribia atafanywa hivi. It never happened, and he later came again to say I never said such a thing. Yeah. So was it changed? Mbona wakibadilisha watu ambi wenye waliweka?
But this is the thing I was saying during the day when we covered that story.
Yes.
When I said that that directive puts police lives in danger more than citizens,
yeah, it does.
That's what I meant. That the moment utapiga wa kwanza risasi,
exactly.
And then this crowd comes to the police station. At the station mko wangapi?
Mnaweza
kuwa mko wa 4 wa 5, mko wa 6, sawa, kila mmoja ako na their rounds. But when people come 100,000 people to the station, are you going to piga all of them risasi?
And you know quite some of these areas they are notorious in ways zenye ukipiga ya kwanza wanasema bado 6.
Oh yes.
Bado 6.
They know.
Zimeisha tuendeji.
They can do a body count. So
exactly.
that's why I was saying sometimes when you give these directives, you should know that it's sharp on both sides.
Yes.
Yes.
But also the other thing as well is I just wanted to speak to the culture. When you walishangaa about the numbers that came out to celebrate the life of Ojwang, I know it was a short life, but in that side of life, we celebrate life however short it was.
Yeah.
So it was a mixture of we are mourning him because he died in ways we do not like, and I like how Amina phrased it at the beginning. He was murdered. Let that be clear. Let's not say he died. He was murdered. So on top of that, we were also celebrating his life, and he's our hero.
Yes.
And it's just a good show, like the way Amina started the show. It's a great time to be Kenyan. Yeah. It's a great time to feel that patriotism. And it's so sad that the patriotism comes because we are coming together against oppression, against freedom of expression, against so many things. And the negative forces that would otherwise divide us are actually bringing people closer together. Yeah. Who would have thunk a couple of years ago that people would storm? You know, these storming police stations are things we used to hear and we talk about it like breaking news. Yeah. Right now, the audacity of saying, yeah, here I am, do what you want, it's mind-boggling, and it will only increase because we have another generation of people who are turning 18 next year and the following year, and they are the majority.
Yes.
So it's an interesting and very patriotic time to be Kenyan.
Yes, and they are watching. They are watching. And just to, I think, echo what Kwat just said, when we have leaders in such powerful positions with this kind of rhetoric, in first world countries, by the way, you know, they step down. You cannot just say things like that.
Yeah.
It is not only dangerous to the police because they are outnumbered.
Yeah.
It's also dangerous for us as citizens. But what message does that send? When do we meet violence with violence? And also, please remember that you're speaking about people's children.
Yeah.
You're speaking about other Kenyans. You're supposed to be in that office looking after all of us as Kenyans, and we don't feel like we are protected. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And also, just to be clear, we are not in any way encouraging people, telling them, please go out there, ban publications. No, we are just saying that this is a result.
It's a ripple effect
of what, you know, when you say things like that.
Yeah. And our brothers, our sisters and brothers who are cops, remember that you're also flesh and blood.
Yeah. Yes,
and by the shout out to a couple of law enforcement who were very vocal and even used the social media platform to say, not me and my house. It's refreshing to know that not all the apples are rotten. That there are some people who are like, yes, I know I'm under command, and you know they risk themselves a lot for that, but they're under command and they said, look, I'm letting my voice be heard. Let's have more of that.
Yes, because we don't want people, you know, just like those high school things where, you know, you will incite one another because once we see we can do it, you know. And I also want, like, I hope the leaders are watching and they understand that people are angered. We can't all be paid here in Nairobi, they're paid in Mombasa. Kwani, who is this who's paying? Please tell us what you think, though. The hashtag is TTT at the Trend Live. Why did that police station also catch fire so fast? That was also another question for you guys.
It's a dry area.
It was torched so... I saw that video. Kibriti ilitoka wapi. You know, when I've gone for Mandamano, I've been there when they're lighting something on fire, and I'm like, where Una mafuta taa? I don't know what they do. I don't know if it's the stick thing where they... I don't know what they do.
Fire!
Amina kumbuka katikati ya maandamano sio moto pekee inawashwa. Kuna watu pia
mengi. Na katikati ya maandamano kuna mtu uza mafuta taa.
Exactly.
So amekuja na stock.
By the way, kuna watu wendanga biashara. Biashara ya kuiba, biashara ya kigun, biashara ni mingi wanasemanga shida tu ni DCI. Now, a recent report indicates that a patient was denied treatment at Naivasha Hospital because the SHA deemed the tumor to be too small to be covered under their benefits. This incident has sparked public concern and raised questions about the implementation and adequacy of the social health authorities that SHA coverage, especially concerning smaller tumors or even less severe conditions. Cindy, I know you have a lot to say.
I do, because I worked in the cancer space for 8 years. And the moment you have a tumor, no matter how small, you need to get it treated. If it is big enough to the size that they're saying, then it is life-threatening. And for this to happen, and for the governor to deny that it happened, you know, there are very few things that you can lie. You can embellish a cough and think it is pneumonia. You can embellish a stomachache and think it is food poisoning. You can't lie it about cancer or a malignant tumor. So there's no way a patient, by the time you're going to be operated, do you know how many tests you have done? You know that you have this thing. So by the time the patient is going to be wheeled in and they're denied, and you say, no, we don't do that, then are you saying the patient is lying? There are so many other ways to cover up by saying, okay, it was an error on that part. We will investigate the hospital. Because I do understand that hospitals don't want to admit patients under SHA because the compensation takes a while and so on. They prefer cash patients. So it's okay for you to deal with the system and say, all hospitals must give an immediate directive as the head of the county. But for you to blanketly say, no, that's a lie, we don't do that, that's not, I don't know, man, like we need to, do our leaders need like a PR class or something? Cancer is life-threatening. You know, for
it's
him not like a cough.
For him to say that it did not happen, I feel like these guys are not that much in touch with the reality of how fast news spreads. Sababu unasema haijafanyika, imeonekana the woman is crying, anasema amekatazwa, alafu your payments are up to date. Sasa umeshalipa haya, tena unaambiwa haujafikisha threshold ya iweze kutreat. Si kiwa ndogo ndio rahisi kutreat.
Hiyo ni ufala ya hosi.
Yeah.
Mahosi, anything small, it's like insurance. You go and they're like, no, you got it when you were 9 years old. If you got it when you were 6, it will be different. So they're trying to look for ways to save cash. So deal with the hospital and tell them no cutting corners and have a firm stand on health, but don't, blanketly reject someone and call them liars.
You see, the same way constitutionally, all hospitals are obligated to first treat the patient before they process the payment.
Yeah.
They don't do that and no one cares. That a lot of, I was talking to my friend who works in an emergency ambulance company, and he was saying they get rejected a lot. With many hospitals. Mmekuja patient, na patient mnaulizwa, nani atawekelea pesa ndio atibiwe? They don't care whether this person is going to die or what's going to happen. Wekeleeni pesa kwanza. So that's something that should be done. But also this story reminded me of a story my grandfather used to tell me nikiwa mdogo, mzee Nelson Okwach. He once told me, kuna siku alipigwa na wakora, and then akaenda kwa police station wakamwambia, sasa umekuja bila alama. Ungewacha wakukate kidogo, at least tukiandika OB, tukue tuko na mahali tunaweza sema, ati umekatika kidogo. It's the same thing they're now saying, ati you should have let the tumor grow to admissible levels. Itoke 2 centimeters, at least ifike 3. Tusemange, hii sasa tunacover.
Let me tell you, what Kwach is saying actually happens. There was a sad case, it was an expose on TV, of some kids who they were going to Kesha at a church in Kawangware, and the girls were being molested. So when they went to report, the cop said, because the girl had showered. She was like 9, 12 years old. And they're like, let her go and be molested again. Then tell her not to shower. Then we do the swap and then we'll catch the guy. You're like, huh?
What?
Yep.
Yes, they told the mom.
Yep.
Let the girl go and be with this pastor again. But afterwards, asioge ndo mlete.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
It happens.
It happens. So that's what I'm saying.
It's the same thing.
Again.
It's the same
and
concept.
This is child molestation. The girl was like 9 or 12.
Well, I mean, this isn't the first time we've had of cases where, the police will either, undermine your story. Sometimes they tell you you're lying. Especially, this happens a lot in cases of domestic abuse.
When it's the man especially being abused.
Yeah, they even laugh at you.
Hey, you enda
wanaume wanapigwa. Sasa unataka
even
tuandike aje hiyo?
and rape for men, same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
But
now
for a black eye.
He and the doctors, that's the same thing we should. I know what Cynthia said is the most accurate thing. This is a battle between hospitals and the insurance system.
Yes.
We are just the grass.
You don't pick on the victim and say they lied.
Wait, did you just reference a Swahili quad?
Yeah.
In English.
I
like it. Hear the grass. Sisi ndo nyasi.
Sisi tu ndio nyasi. Hao wanapigana, sisi we are suffering.
Yeah, that's true. And then you hear that, people just have 2 million lying around in their house.
No, 1.2 billion is it's okay.
Oh, ni mingi. Mambo ni mengi. And I hope that people are seeing and watching, learning, remembering. Okay?
Yeah.
Please understand that when you put people in power who don't fight for your needs on a daily basis and only look after themselves, it shows in the results. Tell us what you think, though. The hashtag is TTTT. Let's pay some bills. We'll be right back. You're watching NTV. Welcome back. All right, now as we talk about SHA having problems, as we talk about people struggling all across the country, it has been one of the most difficult financial seasons that we have seen in a long time, and I'm talking a few years, right? Hapa State House, nilikuta kanisa ya mabati. I have no apologies to make for building a church at State House. No, it's not me who said that, but the president, William Ruto. He's quietly overseeing construction of a grand 1.2 billion Kenya shillings church within the State House grounds. The 8,000-seat facility, one of the largest of its kind in a government compound, has stirred debate over its purpose, its timing, and funding, blending faith with governance in an unprecedented way. Samiro, ndo tu tumetoka kuongelelea story ya nini?
Cheki, tupe hata food ya kuombea. Alafu ujenge church tuingie tuombe hiyo food. Because there are people going hungry. Alafu asking or trying to find out who is spearheading these demonstrations. The answer is simple. Ni hasira yetu inafanya tutoke tuandamane. We won't need someone to call us out, tuendeni tukaandamane. Alafu there's a way of saying it. Afadhali hata basi nyamaza. Kama mse wa PR leo alifail, don't talk about it. Instead of saying I'm not even apologizing. You can't be trying to get closer to God na uko sawa na sisi wenye wewe una lead.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Hata Biblia inakataa.
It reminds me, sorry Samira.
Yeah. Hata Biblia inakataa. You're mending your ways with God na sisi wenyewe basi wachana hata na religion. Haikubaliwi tu hata human nature. Unaona? Because the church leave religion alone and everything else. Just act right. Let's celebrate you for something. Always kuwa wrong, unamuka correction, next una wrong.
Correction.
Wait, I just want to point out something real quick. Now, I don't know if we can just quickly see the full front page of The Nation real quick. I want to show you. So you can see at the top, right? 1.2 billion church at State House revealed. And then right at the bottom, what is it talking about?
Yeah.
What is it talking about?
Bottom right
People
is talking
pay
about
SHA out of pocket.
Yes.
You've seen it?
Yes.
Yeah. On the same newspaper.
Yeah.
Same page.
You know, the interesting thing is that the cost of building this alleged church, I'm calling it alleged church because church is not a building. The alleged church is, right now as we speak, still borrowing from the previous story before the break. I don't know if you guys know, the 2 major radiotherapy machines in Kenya that are, that are operated by the government and patients can access through SHA are down. So that means cancer patients right now are paying out of pocket for cancer treatment. And if you're blessed enough not to know how much cancer treatment is, radiotherapy privately, one session is between 6,500 to 15,000. You need a minimum of 30. Do the math. You've not added chemo, you've not added tests, you've not added medicine. So right now, average Kenyans cannot afford health care, but we are building a church worth that amount of money that can fix the health care. I don't know if... You know what I feel? I feel like, I don't know if you guys have gone on Twitter and seen the White House Instagram page. Have you guys checked it out? It's just become Comedy Central.
Why?
I feel like it's the same thing. Like they even do memes. It's, you know, the way you're like, hey, this is the White House.
Wait, the
official White House Instagram
that wasn't even shocking. I think for me,
you need to check it out. It's full of memes. I feel like Kenya has become meme central. You know, though you're reading the newspaper, like, is this really Amaini meme?
Yeah.
I'm not worried as to whether what is being done is ridiculous. That's a no-brainer. Like, as in, that one we know. What I'm worried about more is who it is intended to target. I am worried more about how this is a direct appeal to our parents, trying to tell them that church haiwezi pingwa. Kujenga kanisa. This is the same script all over na ile tulikuwa tunaambiwa before. Ati wanakataa nijenge makanisa, nilete pesa kwa kanisa, mimi nitaendelea kuleta. Because to our parents...
Kwachi swali ni yako.
Yes.
Nani wanaenda hii church? Ni hao watu wa serikali wanaenda hii church.
8,000. Yes.
Nani anaenda hii church?
Let me tell you guys. Religion is one of the reasons why we are where we are. We have to accept it,
it's
whether
the opium of the masses.
Yes, whether we accept it or not. And that's why I'm saying it is sad for me that there are people who are going to eat this bait, swallow it, and use it to say that this... Remember, this government was one of the governments voted in the premise of religion.
Yeah.
So he's keeping to the narrative because he knows... There is a huge population that is going to buy this. and they are going to go to the elections.
Are there people who honestly think this is the right thing to do?
Of course.
Absolutely. There are people absolutely who
1.2
believe.
million people not in government.
Cindy, you're not understanding.
Laymen who think this is the way to go.
The goons who are paid that 500 bob don't make the connection that their lives are at that state. That the reason why I cannot afford to feed my family is because of you. You're stealing this money. What are you talking about? There's so many. By the way, this regime has a lot of supporters.
Yes.
There are very many people who voted him in. Even Trump in the US, I'm sorry to cut you short, Samiro. You were talking about, the Trump, the White House page being funny. Have you seen what Trump tweets out? When he was talking to Iran and Israel, he was talking through Twitter.
Stop this right now.
So we're just all living, it's like dystopian. What is going on? So, but they do have a lot of support. And just the same way a lot of people don't understand why Kamala's laugh was the reason why, she didn't get the votes. It's the same way we also have to respect that there were millions of Kenyans who braved the cold and voted for our president. So they do have supporters, Cindy. They may not reason like you. And that's why I've seen people post and say, if you support, so-and-so, we just cannot be friends because it's an ideological thing now. It's not a personal opinion anymore.
Just like I was saying during the break, I dislike that now we sound like we have been...
activists.
We are a sponsored team that are now talking against this government. No, we are not against the government. We are for common sense. That's the difference that should be drawn clearly. Common decency. That we are not against someone. We are for someone.
We are for Kenya.
We are for Kenya. That now when you speak
Kenya
about
wins,
it, like,
we all win.
because there's something Giuliani used to do on his Twitter a long time back, where you put an equivalence of what 1.2 billion shillings can do. For example, in our public sector, in our schools, in our security, in our hospitals. Like, what is the juxtaposition that just at the same time when we are taking away the lunch of our soldiers, we are, it's just the juxtaposition that the same week someone is being chased away because of tumor yenye haija grow, is the same week we are talking about that juxtaposition. It's not that kuna mtu ameweka, someone will say at nyinyi mmegeuka sasa mmekuwa activists mtu, because just we share a language with people who oppose the government. We are not saying that we are here to oppose, we are here to speak for.
Yeah, the same way we all agree that Africa is just poorly managed. We are not poor. And things like these are the ones that can show you we are not poor. If we have 1.2 billion to construct a church, we have thousands of homeless people. People who are stuck at the hospital because they cannot pay bills. People who cannot bury their dead because they cannot afford the fees that are required from the mortuary. I'm sorry, Samiro, yes, I cut you short.
Quite in fact, what you just said, if you're from that tribe and you're in opposition for the longest time, right now, if you're part of the demos, you're being used. Because you're supposed now to fold your hands simply because tuko kwa serikali, which is a very funny narrative. But then, you remember, it's our frustrations, as I will just repeat, frustrations zetu, and the disagreement that you keep on being triggered. Yani, hata saa zingine unagopa kuangalia news. Ukiinuka hivi, umeongeleshwa venye mtu anataka. Ukitani hivi, hii imefanyika, you see. So there's no way atunaambiwa, unatumiwa na this other tribe because wewe umezoea kwa opposition to oppose this government.
Stand for what's
right. But you see, the other thing is that this generation, or rather, well, because it's millennials, Gen Zs, and a few boomers here and there, because alphas can't vote. But when they don't care about tribe, so they keep pushing that that tribal narrative, but we don't care. Nyinyi ni watu wa opposition, na nyinyi sijui ni watu wa manini.
Mimi ni Mkenya anateseka, full stop.
Did you see that? Yeah, like tumeteswa sisi watu wa sijui. No, we should genuinely vote people in based on governance. Even the celebrities and personalities who I see doing, many different things, that I see in the comment section, people saying so-and-so should vie for this seat. No, it should not be a popularity contest. That's why we're saying there are people who don't have charisma, because we're used to our politics being comedy.
Yeah, I agree.
Being comedy. So you have to be loud. You have to be, insult the other person, the other party. Have you ever heard what Junet says? Did you? And that's the campaign trail. And then you see someone like Mamdani in New York, the mayor, right? When you hear him speak, he's talking only about the interests of the people of New York. And so we want to see that. We want them to debate on facts. We want them to debate on solutions. These are the solutions I've brought. I've been in power for God knows how long. This is what I've done. Traore has been in power for the same 2 years.
Yes.
So I don't.
It's the unfortunate nature of politics. Trump is the American president, so it's the unfortunate nature of politics worldwide.
Yeah. I know. And imagine we used to want to go to America. Do you guys remember that?
Oh my God.
There was a time.
I mean, I miss Jawai an American dream. I won't even lie to
No,
you.
you're
one
younger
of the
than
few.
us. You're younger than us.
No, but yeah, when you Gen Z, bro.
Yeah.
Sisi wengine wenye we came
We
before
grew
you.
up knowing that is the
I
only
live and
place
die
you
in
can
Africa.
live.
Watu wenye tulisoma na bags zimeandikwa USA.
Yeah.
Sisi ni wadaso.
We used to know, like, we knew to do New Orleans, you even know some store somewhere.
We had
'Cause
accents.
that's
What
all
are
we
you
could
saying?
say.
Yeah.
Mnajua hadi stores. Jamani ni hata mlifika.
Watu wenye tuliandika lyrics kutoka kwa gazeti.
Actually,
Eh.
the
What are you
Nation
telling us?
every Saturday. It was a different time, but yes, so you can see they just have good PR.
Yeah.
Our PR is very, very like, come on, that's all you could come up with.
Also
type of
guys,
PR.
mkikosa
We have to
visa,
take a break,
mjue tu
right?
ni hii link.
I'm sorry, we have to take a break. We'll be back right after this. The hashtag is TTTT. Welcome back. Now, right during the break, actually, we were having this conversation, and Kwach, you know, tells us that Kenya is not a religious country. Constitutionally, we are
a secular country.
We're a secular country.
Yeah.
Is that because of the different religions?
Yeah. You know, there are countries like in the UAE where the country is Islam first.
Yes.
Before even the laws that govern the countries are Sharia laws and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like if you go to Vatican, it is not a secular state.
No.
But Kenya is a secular state.
We are becoming
Strangely.
the handmaid's tale.
Yeah,
You know,
so even telling me that, Amina, if I paid you today, like for example, if you paid your house help, and then sasa anunue nini, and then akwambie ajanunua na pesa yako. No, I'm just saying, I do not mean it to be in a bad taste.
I don't know, it just sounded like you equated anyway. Yes,
I have a text here from Jessie. Thank you so much for correcting me. So the tumor that the lady had was not cancerous. It was a lump of fat, but it was still not good for her to be rejected because if it grows, it can become something else. Isabella says, unfortunately, he's making Kenyan youth hate God for what he's doing. Youths are looking for employment. You are making life unbearable, and yet he's insulting us. Show us the God in you by serving us with amenities and stop building. Wacha kuweka watu hell. So it's you know, I was thinking at the back of my head, and I was like, how many people are so put off by Christianity because they're like, if this is the vision of, if these are the fruits, I don't want to be part of it.
It's like terrorism and Islam, right?
Yes.
Because when people used to do whatever they're doing, they would say this is in the name of Allah, and then people started tying Islam with
terrorism,
so
and it's
terror,
not.
yeah.
and it's not.
Yeah.
It couldn't be further from what the religion is about. Yes, Samiro?
So Isabella Ngamao has a different view. Manze SHA to accept surgery, there is a guideline so that it can be approved. Msiblame SHA. Na plus kuna attendance, wengine hawafanyi vizuri request ya SHA. SHA it works, but lazima ufuate masharti. Pole, but mgonjwa akifuatilia ataona SHA haina makosa.
I'm sorry. Me, I have a sick father and we use SHA. Don't tell me nonsense like that. No way.
Cindy, we are sorry.
No way, no way.
Cindy, si tumesema pole. By the way, someone should advise Isabella that usiwahi kuwa huyo mtu. You know those people who they defend the nini, lakini uwe mtu alipigwa risasi, alikuwa na destroy property.
Me, I don't go through it, so nobody else goes through it. No, that's a nonsense comment. I'm sorry.
Those two things,
but it's very ignorant.
Those two things can be true.
Unaambiwa read the room. Kuna kitu inaitwa situational awareness.
It's not that we do not accept divergent opinions. It's just that we are saying your truth could be different from other people's truth.
Yes.
At Buffalo Dash is saying, hey, ni kubaya in Kenya. As we speak, over 700K have shunned colleges or universities. Currently, hundreds of thousands of secondary school students are home because of fee, paper rims, etc. Mental health issues are a menace. Unemployment, hopelessness, hunger, anger, agitation is taking a toll on people. That's why every small spark we have out there turns into something it should not have.
Sure.
You know, and it's just so unfair, especially for I can even say the Gen Zs, because life is just a lot harder for them, you know, and it's just, and I'm just glad that everyone is waking up. Everyone is waking up. And you know what? We love you guys sending your views and your opinions, even if they're different to ours. At the Trend Live is where you send it through. It's okay. We can agree to disagree, right? That's why we even have this show.
It's not a mob injustice.
Yes, it's true. But that goes to show you, it's okay, Cindy.
No, Cindy,
That one nimeongea vibaya.
But kuna watu pia waliamini ile story ati Boniface Karaoke kumsikia alitukanana. In the same video, every single person has watched. And they said that. And there are people who are like, Sumeskia ata.
If you watch it closely,
just look at it. I mean, where in that video could you tell that was not fair? But there are people who believed it, so in case you're wondering, yes, it does happen. All right, so now we've got to go to the next story. Let's see, Nairobi County Woman Rep. Sasa Madam Passaris, you know, there are people you try, you struggle to defend, and I think our women rep is one of them. So, as Passaris reacted to an editorial cartoon in the dailies that referred to her as a gun for hire, and also being linked to being a government project to sabotage protests through her newly proposed bill. Boycott Media Nation, Boycott Media Nation and Standard are gutter presses. Stop buying their newspapers that have no positive stories about the government. They will never write about development projects. I don't know why I thought that that's how she wrote it as. Sorry, guys. Local media want Kenyans to continue fighting. That's what she said. She has further sponsored a new bill which seeks to ban public gatherings within 100 meters of Parliament, courtrooms, and all protected areas. So what do you guys think about these claims? And like I said, I don't know why it's always just the women reps. What is happening? The things that they say, there's such a huge disconnect. But before you speak, Kwach, let's just watch this and then we can talk.
Na nimeona watu mtandao ikisema mimi ndio gun for hire. Ni Ruto ndio amenipatia hiyo mamlaka ya kuleta hiyo bill. Hiyo bill nilianza October 18th, 2024. Sasa waliingia
all right, fine. It was a long speech.
You know,
Patch has refused to listen to it. He's like,
our accurate representation ni wewe mtu wako nyuma yake. Haamini. She's like, because there's something we were talking about during the break, and we were saying, have you ever seen someone in a position of power, kama mheshimiwa ama in a position of success, and you wonder, kwa kweli na hii akili kwa kweli na hii akili
talked about this, yes.
Umefika hapo aje.
Yes.
But also, if there was a mulamwa of politics,
guy,
I want you to break it down. When you're saying mulamwa, you're referencing
because
what?
Politics is directly like showbiz.
Attention-seeking.
Absolutely. Politics is exactly like showbiz.
Oh my God.
Where
that analogy is golden.
Someone is doing something, they know it's like rage bait. I am doing it because I know it will make you guys angry, and you will talk about me, and you will buy it like you will swallow it.
Yeah.
Then I started thinking about who did she shinda, because as Nairobi County, who lost
up against.
Nikakumbuka ni Karen, nikasema it's okay.
It's fine.
I hope we will have better choices. I hope we will have better choices. But
so there was her who said that, and then that's what went viral. And then you also saw, what did Karen Nyamu say? Did you guys see? She said, if you want to be a bully, or what did she say? If you want to be rough.
Yeah.
And they always reference all these sexual innuendos and jokes. I'm like, do you understand that femicide is a real issue in our country? Do you understand that 70% of our girls do not have access to sanitary pads? That's ridiculous. Yeah. We don't have any time to be talking about those sexual jokes. Yeah. We don't have time to be presenting bills that are not going to be of any benefit to the Kenyan population other than the 1%. Hata imefika 1% kweli. I think there's 1450 or about almost hata wajafika 2000. Yeah. The ones who have political seats, right? It's 1450 seats. So I don't know. You know
what one thing they say about laws. Make a law that even when it will be in the hands of your enemy,
it
will still
can
be
also
fair to
benefit.
you.
Yeah. No, that's
You know,
a
when I
beautiful
was looking at what CS Interior was saying about people being shot, I was like, do you imagine this statement when you are in the opposition? That's the same feeling with this statement. You're banning protests and banning what gathering and media. That you are imagining that you will be in the position where you are forever.
Yes.
And yes,
they say power is
transient.
exactly.
So the way we were talking about in the previous story, that unfortunately this whole church building gives Christianity, the faith, a bad picture. And you've Kwacho saying, why is it always about, was it Kwacho or you, Amina, saying, why is it always about the women rep and all that stuff? Giving women such a bad rap and making people wonder, do we really need this position? When the constitution was being amended and that position was put in place, there was a reason. There was underrepresentation, and they felt if they have somebody of their kind, then, you know, we won't have to worry about being a marginalized group and being bunched with children, because it's always women and children. But right now, because of what is happening now, the hard work of affirmative action, that has gone into even ensuring we have representation in places of power, it's disappeared. You know, it's so heartbreaking to hear some of the stuff that this is happening. I'm just like, do you have sisters, mothers? Do you have girlfriends? You know, the way people trauma and you're like, eh, Apo umechoma kidogo. What, you know, what's the, you're not going to be in politics forever. You're going to be one of us very soon.
Yes.
Plus, Amina,
I just don't know why Cindy had to put her fingers. What was going on there? The point is, you were like, I don't.
You know, the way you're so upset, you're like.
But yes, truly, I understand your frustration. And what will happen is, because people have been saying, maybe we should remove them, right? We don't need it anymore. But that's because, look at Christola Sige.
Look at the fantastic job that she has done to bring in representation, persons with disability.
Thank you very much. Imagine now if we had more who thought the way she thought, who are not there just for personal gain. You know, Samiro, sorry, quickly, we have to go.
Plus, Amina, were it not for you and a handful of other ladies, tunaweza believe what they say about beauty and brains, because and disqualify a group of you who are very wise, thoughtful, and know what they're doing, wakiitwa, because I can't believe, I have sisters, I have been raised by a woman, na kila kitu, na I think they've been doing a good job in whatever leadership position wamekuwa kipewa. Venye tu umesema, the way they are doing things, inafeel ni kama tuna have to scrap off easy.
There are people who are already saying we should scrap off that position of women's rep.
I mean, honestly, especially some of them who are nominated, and then you hear what they're saying, especially because of how tone deaf they can be. We're talking about, you know, a 7-year-old girl who was molested, who, you know, the 5-year-old girl we saw who was thrown out the window. Where are you? Those are the days we, excuse me, want to hear you. We want the demonstrations to be started by our female politicians. We want them to call out and say, on Monday, we're all meeting women, let's march against femicide. And what, like, we just feel like we're not represented at all. But thank you so much, guys, for watching the show. Thank you, Samiro. Thank you, Cindy. And thank you, Kwach. As usual,
the gram is already
out of time. Let's go outside and see what's happening. My name is Amina Abdi Rabah. Hopefully, if nothing happens, we'll see you next week. Good evening. Time for news. Bye-bye.